Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, March 20th, 2026. This is Truth News. I am Walter Bass. Tonight, we are going to talk about, and first of all, there's so much to talk about. We could talk about the highest intelligence officer, Joe Kent, having some integrity, honor, and self respect and love for his country to take the admirable course and resign, and how podcaster Kash Patel and his fake FBI are now investigating Joe Kent for telling the truth. We could talk about that. We might get into that later. We could talk about this pattern of behavior. Tell the truth and go through character assassination. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Joe Kent, Ian Carroll, Native Valhalla. Pretty much anyone who tells the truth goes through a character assassination. But it is Friday, so we'll start the show with a Shabbat Shalom. And we'll give a shout out to our sponsor. As always, I've missed this a couple of shows. I don't want to ignore our sponsor. We want to pay respects to the person who's responsible for the creation of this show. That would be this man right here, Diaper Don, Dementia Don, the most evil, stupid, child raping, woman beating, child beating murderer to ever disgrace the Oval Office of the United States of America. And if you go to McDonald's right now and ask for the presidential combo, you can get a fried baby flesh sandwich between the buns of a fillet of fish with a large fry and a Diet Coke for $999.99. That's the presidential combo being offered at McDonald's. The McFetus sandwich is what it's called, fried baby flesh, large fry, Diet Coke, $999.99. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. So thank you to that sponsor. It is day 1,653 since serial child killer State Judge Kelly Hansen of Riverside County, California, kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and murdered my 7-year-old son that I haven't seen or heard from since 2021, who I'm told by Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department's 3rd District that Donald Trump ate my son. That's right. So maybe my son was served as a feast for the leaders of the free world. That is what they're into. Cannibalism of children. But it is Free Speech Friday, as I like to say. We only get one day a week for free speech, and it's probably going to be censored, but that's okay. We're going to talk about the intentional murder of United States military members. We currently have 13 dead, intentionally murdered by the actions taken by the Fox News broadcaster and raging alcoholic Pete Kegsbreath and Dementia Donald Trump, who don't know where his father was born and can't contain his bowels. So, we're going to look at Kharg Island. Kharg Island. Let me turn on a light here so I can see a little bit. I got a new desk today. It's a little bit different setup. So we're going to have to make some adjustments as we do this. Just trying to get it all together. Is that going to be too bright? We'll see. I'll give it a go. So, Kharg Island is 16 miles off the coast of Iran. 16 miles. It is 300 miles northwest of the Strait of Hormuz. Everyone knows what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz right now. Iran is allowing every other country to get their oil and their fertilizer to have food and energy for their country, except our greatest liability and the United States of America. So we're the only 2 countries on planet Earth not allowed to receive anything from the Strait of Hormuz, because our president rapes children and tries to divert and distract from that by bombing people who really are just minding their own business. Not saying they're good people, not saying I agree with them, but the last time I checked, Iran hasn't done anything to the United States of America since, 1979, 1978? So, Kharg Island provides a seaport for the export of up to 90% of Iran's oil products. 90% of Iran's oil products go through Kharg Island. So, and it also is a storage place for 30 million barrels of oil. So I want you to understand, dementia Donald Trump, child rapist, pedophile, murderer, the 80-year-old who rapes teenage girls, punches them in the head, and buries his ex-wife on his golf course for tax breaks that he murdered, by the way. That's right. Ivana Trump was murdered by Donald Trump. Yes, indeed. The New York Medical Examiner covered it up for Donald Trump like everyone else does for this guy's whole life. This guy has done whatever he wanted to do, and everybody just kind of, well, it's Donald Trump. Let's just look the other way. This is why the United States of America is in a death spiral right now. So Kharg Island is 7.7 square miles. And I want you to factor all of this stuff in. 7.7 square miles. It's 5 miles long and around 2.5 to 3 miles wide. So 5 miles long, 2.5 to 3 miles wide, 16 miles off the coast of Iran, who have ballistic missiles, who have been launching all over the Middle East, from Qatar to the UAE, all over the Middle East, Bahrain, and Dementia Don, who never fought or served for this country in any way, shape, or form because of bone spurs, whose family has never served in the military as far as we can see in any history, who rapes and murders children and thinks it's funny, whose best friend has his own island for raping and murdering children. That guy, Dementia Don, and the Fox News host, who's a raging alcoholic, Pete Kegsbreath, think it's a great idea to send 2,000 to 3,000 United States Marine Corps members to this island, 5 miles long and 2.5 to 3 miles wide, that's used to store 30 million barrels of oil for Iran off the coast of Iran by 16 miles, who has drones and ballistic missiles being launched constantly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a suicide mission. That is what you would call a kill box. When you're stuck on an island, 16 miles off the coast of a country launching ballistic missiles, and there's nowhere to go, and they use this island for 90% of their oil products, and they store 30 million barrels of oil there, do you think stationing 2,000 to 3,000 United States military members, Marine Corps members on that island is a smart strategic move? Don't get me wrong, I'm no raging alcoholic or Fox News host like our Secretary of Defense, Mr. Pete Kegsbreath. Don't get me wrong, I'm no military strategist. But I do know what a kill box is. A kill box is generally, let me look it up because I don't want to give you false information. But in my layman's terms, how I would interpret it is, it's a position in the battlefield where there's no escape, where the enemy would have a superior advantage over you, whether it be you're in a lower terrain, they're in a higher terrain, whether it be you're on an island stuck 16 miles off of their coast. Let's see what Google says. Kill box meaning. A kill box is a three-dimensional designated area on a battlefield defined by grid coordinates or terrain, allowing military forces to rapidly exchange and destroy targets within it. Do you think 2,000 to 3,000 Marine Corps members stuck on an island 5 miles long, 2.5 to 3 miles wide, with 30 million barrels of oil, 16 miles off the coast of Iran, who have ballistic missiles with full capability, and drones with full capability of reaching that island no problem? I would define that as a kill box. I would say that's a suicide mission, and anyone who would go do that is a fool. You are not serving your country. You're a martyr for the Einstein files. You are a martyr for a president who rapes and murders children and is desperate to divert and distract from that, to the extent that I think Dementia Don, when 2,000 Marines get slaughtered, stuck on an island 7.7 square miles big with 30 million barrels of oil, and they get slaughtered in one fell swoop by a ballistic missile or a drone attack, I would say that's a pretty good distraction or diversion from the fact that the President of the United States of America rapes, murders, and beats children. And that's where we are. This is where we are. So Kharg Island is guarded by the IRGC. If you don't know what that is, that's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, leading to its moniker of Forbidden Island. That's right. It's got a moniker called Forbidden Island. Forbidden Island. That's where we want to send 2,000 or 3,000 United States Marine Corps members to a forbidden island stocked with 30 million barrels of oil, 16 miles off the coast of Iran, who have drones and ballistic missiles. That is just strategically genius. I mean, unbelievable, the intelligence of these people. So they would be what I would call sitting ducks. So if you think 13 military members dead, 200 wounded, if you think that is disrespectful and outrageous, wait until they get stationed at Kharg Island and see what happens. I guarantee you there's going to be a slaughter of those Marine Corps members, those military service members. I guarantee it. That is a kill box. He is intentionally sending them there for diversion and distraction. This man will throw anybody under the bus to save his own hide. How's Kristi Noem doing these days? Oh, that's right. She's under a congressional subpoena looking for perjury charges for lying to Congress for $220 million worth of television advertising that she said was approved by Dementia Don, and he said, I never knew anything about it. So somebody's lying. And our allies, just so you know, all of our allies are turning to China. And Iran is using they're very strategic, very smart with their maneuvering. Iran is saying they want everyone to switch to Chinese currency to do business. They don't want to do business with the US dollar anymore because the US dollar is worthless. Our economy's been nothing but child sex trafficking and a Ponzi scheme. One big giant Ponzi scheme. Child sex trafficking by the world's most famous pedophiles and cannibals. Ellen DeGeneres, the most prolific cannibal in Hollywood. Yeah, that's in the Einstein Files. You can look that one up. We have the world's most famous child rapist, President Dementia Donald J. Trump, who don't know where his father is. He don't know what's going on. He don't know if we're at war. It's an excursion, or it's a military strike, or it's a war, or a military strike, or excursion. He's really not sure of anything. And we have Fox News host and raging alcoholic Pete Kegsbreath, who is, I'm telling you, this guy is in a good contest for best word salad ever with Kamala Harris. These people talk about nothing in circles to nowhere. It is literally hurting my head sometimes to listen to these people speak. It's despicable. Joe Kent, as you know, resigned as Director of Counterterrorism Intelligence, who was appointed there by Donald Trump. He was recommended by Donald Trump. He has 11 tours in the Middle East. He lost his wife to a suicide bomber in the Middle East. He has sacrificed his family. He has sacrificed his life, and all to serve this country. And a man who rapes and beats children, murders his ex-wives, buries them on his golf courses for tax breaks, and dodges the draft and never serves in the military because of bone spurs. calls him weak. The 80-year-old child rapist with bruises on the back of his hands from getting blood transfusions from slaughtered babies because he thinks he can live forever if he just keeps getting fresh batches of baby blood put in his bag of flesh, calls Joe Kent highly decorated, highly respected, highly intelligent, probably the most qualified person in Washington, D.C. for his position, calls him weak. That's right. That's right. That's where we're at. And because Joe Kent went on Tucker Carlson and told the truth, is going to be on Candace Owens and literally just tells the truth that this war, these murders of U.S. service members have nothing to do with the United States of America at all. It has to do with the president raping children, being blackmailed because he rapes children. That's the extent of it. In a nutshell, in layman's terms. I mean, I could go back and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you an example again. I've done this a couple times, but I keep all my shows in my book here because I'll take all my notes. And we're going to explain how the government talks. This is how the government talks versus how the rest of the country speaks. This is what the government would say. I'm an acrylics manual applicator for the private sector specializing in coverage and repeated application of acrylic latex to domicile structures and commercial structures, resulting in visual change, impacting lives and improving financial holdings for private citizens. Do you understand what that means? That means I'm a painter. I paint houses. That's what that means. But this is how the government would describe it. And this is what these people do. And by the way, our greatest liability, I no longer call them our greatest ally because they are not. They're our greatest liability. They're responsible for all of the death, all of the mayhem, all of the financial terrorism, all of the crimes against humanity in our country. Our greatest liability is banned from 109 countries. They are banned from 109 countries all over the world. And there's a reason for that. And now the United States of America has isolated itself because our leaders like to rape children, eat children, sell children, and lie about it. And they have been all compromised. From Pam Bondi to podcaster Kash Patel to alcoholic and Fox News, I wouldn't even call him a host, Fox News contributor Pete Kegsbreath, Marco Rubio, Mr. Bubble Bath himself. All have been compromised because they all come from Predator Beach, Florida, where there is a hole of these satanic cult members. We have a cult that's spread across the country from Hollywood to Predator Beach to Scottsdale, Arizona to Washington, D.C. And they all own allegiance to one, I wouldn't call them a nation, one cult. It's a cult. And they fly the Star of David. So, as we anticipate with the distractions and diversions and anything to get out of the fact that the President of the United States of America rapes children, beats children, murders children, and it's thoroughly documented. Iran media is covering it. We are going to see false flags happening soon on U.S. soil. We are going to see our greatest liability bomb strategic locations in the United States of America and blame Iran. They have been doing this for decades. You see, whenever there's a mass shooting, whenever there's a bombing on U.S. soil, it's always the other guy's fault. But it's not the other guys who are doing it. It's the same people doing it every time. It's the United States intelligence agencies working on behalf of our greatest liability. And we all know that. Everyone has called this out. Jim Brewer, Valhalla, Tucker Carlson, Joe Kent, everyone's calling out there's going to be false flags. It's coming. So, we will close with a Bible verse. As I said, I got a new desk today. So, I'm making some adjustments, getting everything set up. We're at the 20-minute mark, which is pretty good. I try to keep these videos at 30 minutes for the attention span of most people. I know Baron Coleman goes 3 hours, and there's a lot of people always saying, Baron, can you shorten your shows? 3 hours is too much. No, you just can't keep your attention for that long because you have been psychologically conditioned to change channels and thoughts about every 10 to 15 seconds through social media apps like TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all psychological warfare, psychological conditioning, which is why I read, work out, pray, meditate every single day for 8 years. Been doing it. And I advise everyone to sit in silence and sit still. You know, the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. And when you can just sit perfectly still and keep your body still, it teaches your mind to be still. And right now, with all the psychological attacks coming from the mainstream media, from the social media, from these weapons right here, these are weapons of psychological warfare. This is not for your entertainment. This is not for your amusement. This is for intelligence agencies to infiltrate your mind and control your thinking. That's what this is. So I encourage discipline and self-control. I encourage consistency and commitment to your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health right now. And I'm going to read a verse from Matthew tonight. I've been in, like I was reading Ephesians last night. I got 3 different Bibles open to 3 different pages. And I got the John MacArthur Study Bible. This is the King James Version right here. And I have another version up there. And I'm going to read this because I've been calling, emailing 1,653 days about my 7-year-old son being kidnapped, violently sexually assaulted, and murdered by a serial child killer, State Judge Kelly Hansen of Riverside, California. We all know Riverside, California is a major child sex trafficking hub for the United States of America, with Greg Laurie from Harvest Church selling children from Riverside to Romania for 20 years. That's thoroughly documented. State Judge Kelly Hansen has been working for the Sinaloa cartel, selling children for 16 years after he kidnaps them, rapes them, tortures them, abuses them. Sinaloa Sheriff Chad Bianco, who's actually running for governor of California. You can look at my previous videos. He sells weapons, guns, drugs, and children for the Sinaloa cartel. District Attorney Mike Hestron makes sure that no Sinaloa cartel members are ever prosecuted in Riverside County for their crimes against humanity, whether it's money laundering, drug trafficking, child sex trafficking, human trafficking, gun trafficking. Mike Hestron, Chad Bianco, State Judge Kelly Hansen, and Unmarked to Project Touch. All of these people are an organized crime syndicate fully funded by the Sinaloa cartel, posing as United States taxpayer-funded public servants. It's all a facade. It's all a fake. In the words of Candace Owens, fake and gay. It's all fake and gay. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to tell you why I read it after. I'm at the 24-minute mark. Blessed are they which are, Matthew 5:10. Matthew 5:10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you, and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, where shall it be salted? Is it thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men? And the reason I say that to you is because every time I call Capitol Police Intelligence, Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Marietta Police Department, Gavin Newsom, Attorney General Rob Bonta, U.S. Attorney Adam Gordon, Oklahoma City Detective Intelligence, Brad Cotton, Jaron Stevens, Jason Hodges, Oklahoma City Police, Midwest City Police, all of the politicians from Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tim Burchett, Mike Johnson, Lauren Boebert, Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, Robert Garcia, Sarah Jacobs, on and on and on. I've been doing this since Kevin McCarthy was Speaker of the House. And every time, this is what they do exactly right here. They persecute me, they laugh at me, they call me crazy. They think it's funny, raping, murdering, and eating children. It's funny to all of the above mentioned. Oklahoma City to California. I've been pursuing invariably the same course. To not have children raped, murdered, sold, beaten, eaten, tortured, abused, or trafficked. And all of my law enforcement, intelligence agencies, and public servants, politicians, all have laughed, mocked me, said I have delusions of grandeur, said I have a delusional psychosis, said I need to take medication. Mind you, these are people where cocaine is in the White House. We have podcasters and Fox News personalities, TV personalities who rape children, who traffic children, alcoholics, wife beaters. We have Tony Gonzalez burning women alive that he had an affair with. Remember the woman he had an affair with, one of his staffers? Burnt her alive, Tony Gonzalez. That's right. That's right. These are the people who say I'm crazy because I don't want children raped, murdered, and sold. And they are the entire premise for these videos being made every single day. And I will make these videos, and I will make phone calls, and I will send emails across this country every single day. And every one of these videos, I copy the link, and I send it to Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Coach Colin, Robert Garcia, Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, intelligence agents, Jason Hodges here in Oklahoma City. I send it to Sheriff Chad Bianco of Riverside County. I send it all across this country. 70 plus people. Julie K. Brown from the Miami Herald, Tucker Carlson, all of these people. Because my 7-year-old son had to have a serial child killer state judge, Kelly Hansen, force his dick in my son, causing physical injuries. And rather than anybody do anything about it, they make me out to be, they persecute me. Yeah, say false things about me. So a grown man could stick his dick in my 7-year-old son. God bless America, Shabbat Shalom, huh? Yeah, we're talking about cannibalism of children in 2026 by the Hollywood elites, by the politicians, by billionaires. Yeah, the Mark Zuckerberg, the Elon Musk, Les Wexner, Larry Silverstein, Leon Black, Ellen DeGeneres, on and on and on. And this isn't anything new. This has been going on since the 90s. Corey Feldman has been singing to the mountaintops since the 90s about being sexually assaulted, molested, and abused as a child in Hollywood. And will anybody do anything about it? They'll laugh. They'll laugh. They'll make jokes. That's what they'll do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time and attention. We're at the 30-minute mark tonight. I will make one video tomorrow, maybe two. We'll see. I'm going to watch Valhalla. I know he's on live right now. We'll see what happens between now and tomorrow. Every day, this country gets more Orwellian than I've ever seen in my life. This is stuff you can't even make it up. You can't even make a movie or write a book about how crazy the public servants of the United States government have flat out become. So thank you for your time and attention. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share this video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good weekend.